Lauren Hayes had been working at the Meridian for 6 months, and she'd learned the rules quickly. The restaurant was the kind of place where reservations were booked 3 months in advance, where the wine list read like a history of French vineyards, and where one mistake could cost you your job. At 26, with dark hair, she kept in a neat bun and the kind of composed demeanor that came from years of service work. Lauren had mastered the art of being invisible. She moved through the dining room like a shadow, anticipating needs before guests voiced them, clearing plates without disrupting conversation, pouring wine with practiced precision. She knew which tables belonged to old money and which to new. She knew which guests tipped well and which complained about everything. And she absolutely knew, to stay away from table 12 when the Ashford family was dining. Marcus Ashford owned half the city's commercial real estate and had enough influence to make or break careers with a phone call. His wife, Vivian, sat on the boards of every important charity and cultural institution. And their daughter, Celeste, was known throughout the restaurant as someone who went through servers the way other people went through tissues. She's gotten 4 people fired this year. Lauren's co-worker, Jamie, had warned her during training. She finds something wrong with everything. The water's too cold, the bread's too warm. You're standing too close. You're not attentive enough. There's no winning with her. Then why does management keep seating her? Lauren had asked. Because her father pays for the privilege. He has a standing reservation every Friday night, drops about $5,000 on dinner, and the owners aren't about to turn that away just because his daughter is impossible to please. So Lauren had watched from a distance as other servers drew the short straw, as they approached table 12 with trepidation, as they inevitably made some imperceptible mistake that sent Celeste into a tirade and got them reassigned, or worse, dismissed. Celeste Ashford was beautiful in the way that money made possible, with platinum blonde hair that fell in perfect waves, flawless makeup, and designer clothes that probably cost more than Lauren made in 6 months. She was 32, unmarried by choice according to the gossip, and seemed to take genuine pleasure in making service workers miserable. The rule was simple: avoid Celeste Ashford at all costs. Lauren had managed to follow that rule successfully for 6 months, until the Friday evening when Victor, who usually handled table 12, called in sick 30 minutes before the dinner rush. The restaurant manager, Gerald, pulled Lauren aside with an apologetic expression. "I need you to take the Ashford table tonight." Lauren's stomach dropped. "Gerald, I've never served them before. Maybe someone more experienced." "Everyone more experienced has already had a run-in with Miss Ashford. You're new. Maybe she won't remember you're new. Just be professional, be attentive. And for God's sake, don't engage if she tries to pick a fight." So Lauren found herself approaching table 12 at 7:30 that evening, menus in hand and her heart pounding. The Ashford family was already seated. Marcus was on his phone, barely acknowledging her presence. Vivian was studying the wine list with the intensity of someone decoding ancient texts. And Celeste was looking at her nails, her expression one of practiced boredom. "Good evening," Lauren said, her voice steady despite her nerves. "My name is Lauren, and I'll be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you with some water, or would you prefer to begin with cocktails?" "Water," Marcus said without looking up from his phone. "Still or sparkling?" Lauren asked. "Still for me," Vivian said. "Celeste?" Celeste finally looked up, her blue eyes assessing Lauren with the kind of scrutiny usually reserved for art auctions. "Sparkling. With exactly 3 ice cubes." "Not 4, not 2, 3. "Of course," Lauren said evenly. She returned with the waters, counting the ice cubes twice before placing Celeste's glass in front of her. Celeste picked it up, examined it with theatrical precision, and set it down without comment. A small victory. Taking the order was an exercise in patience. Marcus wanted the steak, medium rare, but not too rare. Vivian wanted the salmon, but with the sauce on the side, extra vegetables instead of the potato. Celeste studied the menu for a full 5 minutes before announcing. She wanted the duck breast, but wanted to make several modifications that essentially turned it into a completely different dish. Lauren wrote it all down carefully, repeated the order back to ensure accuracy, and headed to the kitchen. The chef raised his eyebrows when she read off Celeste's requirements, but nodded. He'd cooked for her before. He knew the drill. The first course went smoothly. The second course went smoothly. Lauren was beginning to think maybe, just maybe, she'd survive the evening without incident. Then came the wine. Celeste had ordered a bottle of Chateau Margaux, one of the most expensive wines on the list. Lauren brought it to the table, presented it with the label facing Celeste, and began the opening ritual. Cut the foil. Remove the cork. Pour a small amount for tasting. Celeste swirled the wine, smelled it, took a sip. Her expression soured immediately. "This wine is corked," she announced loudly enough for nearby tables to hear. Lauren's heart sank. A corked wine was possible, but rare, especially with bottles this expensive that were stored so carefully. "I'm so sorry, Miss Ashford. Let me bring you a replacement immediately." "Wait," Celeste said, her voice sharp. "Let me smell the cork." Lauren handed her the cork. Celeste sniffed it dramatically, made a face, and set it down. "Definitely corked. This is unacceptable. My father is paying $500 for this bottle. And you bring me spoiled wine? What kind of establishment is this?" Other diners were looking now. Lauren felt her face flush, but she kept her composure. "Again, I sincerely apologize. Let me get you a new bottle right away." "I don't want a new bottle of this," Celeste said, her voice dripping with disdain. "I want something better. And I want it complimentary for the trouble." This was the game. Lauren had seen it played before with other servers and other tables. Create a problem, escalate it, demand compensation. Some people did it for the power trip. Some did it because they could. "I'll speak with the manager," Lauren said calmly. "Yes, you do that," Celeste said, waving her hand dismissively. Lauren walked back to the service station, her mind racing. Gerald appeared beside her immediately, having witnessed the scene. "What does she want?" "A better bottle, complimentary." Gerald sighed. "Of course she does. Fine. Give her the Chateau Latour 2009. That's an $800 bottle. Tell her it's with our compliments and apologies." Lauren returned to the table with the new bottle, presented it, went through the opening ritual again. This time Celeste tasted it, paused, and gave a small nod of approval. "Better," she said, "though it should have been right the first time." Lauren said nothing, just poured the wine for the table and stepped back to a respectful distance. The main course arrived, plated beautifully by the chef who'd somehow managed to make Celeste's impossible modifications look elegant. Lauren set the plates down carefully, describing each dish. "Enjoy your meal," she said. "Wait," Celeste said. Lauren turned back. "This isn't what I ordered." Lauren's mind went blank for a moment. She'd written down the order exactly. She'd repeated it back. She'd given it to the kitchen precisely as Celeste had specified. "I'm sorry, Miss Ashford. This is the duck breast with the modifications you requested. I said I wanted the vegetables on the side, not incorporated into the dish." Lauren was certain that wasn't what Celeste had said. She'd said she wanted the root vegetables instead of the potatoes, but nothing about them being served separately. But arguing with a guest, especially this guest, was career suicide. "I'll have the chef prepare it again," Lauren said quietly. "Don't bother," Celeste said, picking up her fork. "I'll eat it, but I expect this taken off the bill." "Of course." Lauren walked away, her hands shaking slightly. She dealt with difficult customers before, but there was something particularly cruel about Celeste's approach. It wasn't just about getting free food or exercising power. It felt personal, as if Celeste enjoyed watching people squirm. The dinner continued in this fashion. Celeste found fault with something. During each course while her parents ate in, oblivious silence, Marcus still glued to his phone, and Vivian, making polite conversation with other diners at nearby tables. By the time dessert arrived, Lauren was exhausted. She set down the creme brulee that Celeste had ordered, the caramelized sugar on top perfectly golden and crackling. "This is burnt," Celeste said immediately, not even tasting it. That was it. That was the moment when something inside Lauren snapped. She'd been polite. She'd been accommodating. She'd accepted blame for things that weren't her fault and had bent over backward to make this woman happy. And it was never going to be enough because Celeste Ashford didn't want to be happy. She wanted to make other people miserable. "Actually," Lauren said, her voice still professional but with an edge that hadn't been there before, "it's not burnt. Creme brulee is supposed to have a caramelized sugar top. That's what makes it creme brulee. The contrast between the crispy caramel and the smooth, Custard underneath is the entire point of the dish. The table went silent. Marcus looked up from his phone for the first time all evening. Vivian's mouth fell open slightly, and Celeste stared at Lauren with an expression